Thank you very much. And the truth about it is, it is uh, it is a liberation course in motion where we are learning lessons and making improvement, and based on very objective analysis, we're making tremendous progress, and there is no going backwards. It's only going forward. So quickly, this is where we need to begin tonight. Uh, Biden's administration is alleged, reports has it, that those who were deported by Donald Trump in 2020, 2021, some of them that were persecuted after being deported into the Cameroons are now being returned into the United States back door because nobody seemed to be aware. It would appear that it's an intelligence. This effort, though we have not confirmed the names of those who have been brought back into America. I'm talking about asylum seekers who allegedly their cases were processed and denied and were deported by the current administration. The number of them returned is not clear enough. The names of those returned into America is not clear enough. But our interest this evening should be focused on the controversy that it has sparked. There is an argument about it, which I think, after everybody will have spoken, what we see is most important. And what does that mean to our efforts in diplomacy? But first, let's watch a report in this regard.
Questions this morning over our country's border crisis. The Washington Free Beacon is reporting that the Biden administration is flying some migrants deported by President Trump back into the U.S., specifically dozens from the Central African nation of Cameroon. Quote, the program, which has not been announced to the public, appears to be a response to the February 2022 Human Rights Watch report about dozens of Cameroonians deported between 2019 and 2021 and then allegedly mistreated by their government. An estimated 80 to 90 Cameroonians were deported during that period of time. I want to bring in the author, senior investigative reporter for the Washington Free Beacon, Joseph Simonson. Joseph, good morning.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Let's break this down. Your reporting is based on internal immigration and customs enforcement memos. What did you find out about this program centered on Cameroonians?
Sure, absolutely. So earlier this year, immigrations and customs enforcement began doing this, what I describe as, and what former and current ICE officials describe as, an unprecedented program of starting to bring back a number of Cameroonians who were deported under the previous administration. Now, these Cameroonians who were deported went through the normal asylum process. Their claims were heard by an asylum judge, and they were rejected and then sent back. Now, what lots of human rights groups and sort of activist groups allege is that a number of these Cameroonians, when they were sent back to their home country, were subsequently mistreated by the Cameroonian government for trying to claim asylum. Now, that may be true. Again, it's all allegations. This has not been litigated in court, which is sort of makes this program even more strange. And no judge said you have to bring them back. But what current and former ICE officials worry about is that we've created sort of a new precedent. Right. If your asylum claims are rejected in the United States and you're sent back to your home country, and then a migrant or a former migrant can say, well, now I'm being persecuted for even trying to leave my country. Under this program, the Biden administration has decided, well, we'll just fly you right back here.
Okay, just wow. So how many of these migrants are being brought back, and where are they being taken? Are they being dropped off in New York, LA, Chicago, Texas, what?
So we don't have a firm number on the amount of migrants who have been flown back from Cameroon. We know that a handful so far have been flown back, and we know that some have ended up in the Virginia, D.C. area. We know that some have ended up in the Mid-Atlantic region. What current ICE officials say is that what the Biden administration is doing is dropping them off across the country in order not to concentrate them in any one location to not arouse suspicion. Because again, this program has not been announced to the public, which current ICE officials and former ICE officials say is very strange.
Joseph Simonson, where can we find more of your reporting?
The WashingtonFreeBeacon.com.
Joseph Simonson, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching it.
Okay, there's so much to say about this. There's an analyst, the analyst there from Washington is expressing grievances. There are those who think that it's a bad precedent for the United States. But if the United States will respond to calls of Amnesty International to get people deported back into Cameroon, this is a loudspeaker. And I'm not sure if in recent times we've had any acknowledgement of our plight to this extent. Let me begin with you, Barrister Fru. Let's try to be a little bit brief so that we can meet up with other things we need to discuss before the occasion this evening begins. Very brief, please. Barrister Fru,
yes, sir. This is an operation that has never been done in the history of the United States. That's to tell you how atrocious the human rights record of Cameroon is. People are deported not for a fault of their own, but because they do not meet the conditions of asylum in the United States, back to where they are coming from. And the next thing, the government in place decides to torture them, take them and lock them up in prison. That is the worst human rights abuse. And it falls in the face of the United States. And the United States could not sit behind and watch that happen. It is an indictment of the government of La République du Cameroon, atrocious human rights record. Whether it's a president said or whatever is done, it has been done because the United States cannot and will not tolerate human rights abuses, especially if the government of the United States was one way or the other involved in putting the people at the place where they put them for them to be abused by a rogue regime, the regime of La République du Cameroon, led by a genocidaire, Phobia. When I heard it, I was taken aback, and I was so happy because it is a blow to La République du Cameroon. They should know that the world is watching them and that they could not just continue to treat people, abuse people's rights as they did for those who were deported for no fault of their own, just that they did not meet the conditions. And you take them and you put them in jail. What crime did they commit? And that is why the United States could not withstand that kind of human rights abuse, because they are the ones who deported, thinking that they were deporting them to a civilized nation that will allow them go about their business as usual. But hey, the regime in place took them and locked them up. I started abusing them with no trial, nothing. This guy is talking about there's no court, which court is he talking about? A Cameroonian court to try those people? He does not know that the human rights abuse in Cameroon does not even consider the court for trying anybody. And even if they try you, they are just looking for a way to condemn you for no crime committed. And that is why I applaud what the Biden administration has done, and congratulations, and let the world watch and see how La République du Cameroon is living and calling itself a nation on this earth.